G'day. We're going to continue looking at non-monic trinomials and see what happens in a few special cases. So suppose we got given something like this. 6x squared, take 7x, take 3. I look at it and I think, oh, it's non-monic. Let's check if there's a common factor in order to make it monic. 6, negative 7, negative 3. There's nothing common that I can take out of there. So I'm going to have to try something new. Now what we do in this situation is we take the coefficient of the x squared and we multiply it by that constant term. So we say 6 times negative 3, which equals negative 18. And we're actually going to find factor pairs that multiply to get negative 18. So we draw ourselves up one of our little tables, factors, sum, okay, and we're going to start with 18, comma, negative 1, 9, comma, negative 2, 6, comma, negative 3, 3, comma, negative 6, 2, comma, negative 9, and 1, comma, negative 18. And I'm going to check those pairs. So 18 plus negative 1 is 17, 9 plus negative 2 is 7, 6 plus negative 3 is 3, 3 plus negative 6 is negative 3, 2 plus negative 9 is negative 7. Hang on a minute, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for negative 7. I'm looking for that coefficient. So that bit stays the same. So I'm going to use this factor pair. I'll just rub that out for a moment. Step 2, if you like. I'm going to rewrite my first statement. I'm going to keep the 6x squared. I'm going to use these factor pairs to rewrite negative 7x. I'm going to use plus 2, because that's what I've got here, x, take 9x, take 3. And you'll notice that 2x take 9x is the same as negative 7x. So I've written an equivalent statement. Now I'm going to do something a bit different. I'm going to take these 4 terms and split them down the middle. I'm going to try and factorise each section of this, or group it in pairs, is what we sometimes call it. So looking at the first 2 terms, I can see that 2 is common, I can see x is common, so I'm going to take that out the front. 6x squared divided by 2x is 3x. 2x divided by 2x is just 1. And I'm going to look over here and I'm going to go, I notice that negative 9x and negative 3 have a common factor of negative 3. Negative 9x divided by negative 3 is positive 3x. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is positive 1. Now, if you've done everything correctly, you should always end up with this. You should end up with the bit in brackets being common. Then we go back to our common factor factorisation, and we notice that this is common to this term, and this is common to this term. So I can pull out the 3x plus 1 and put that at the front, which leaves me this term with the 2x, and with this term take 3. Okay, so I've ended up with a factor, a second factor, so the product of 2 factors, that's what I was aiming to get, okay, from this original trinomial that didn't have any common factors. And if you need to double check, you don't believe it, multiply it out. 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times negative 3 is negative 9x, plus 2x, take 3, collect the like terms, and ta-da, that's what we started with. Now try another one. Example number 8, which I've lost on my page. 12x squared plus 23x plus 10. Can't read my own writing. So, first thing we do whenever we get a non-monic trinomial is check, is there a common factor? And there isn't. So we're going to have to go through that other method. So what was it? We start with the coefficient of x squared and multiply it by that constant. So 12 times 10. So I'm looking for factors of 120. Now that's quite tricky because 120 is a really big number. So I'm going to, instead of just looking for every single factor pair, I'm going to start thinking about numbers that might add up to 23. I'm going to have an odd number and an even number. Okay, I've got positives and positives, so I'm only working with positive numbers. So I might start off and I might think, oh, what about 20 and 6? But that would give me 14 or 26. That's not particularly helpful. And I might think, oh, okay, how about 10 and 12? Okay, that's not particularly useful. What else goes into 120? I know 3s do. I know that 15. Let's try 15. 15 and 8. 15 and 8. That looks promising. All right, let's... So depending on how good your multiplication is, you might have a really long list of factor pairs. But if you're quite good, you might be able to pick a number quite quickly that multiplies to get 120, but also adds to get this 23. And I can see that that one does. So I'm going to use my method. I'm going to rewrite this 12x squared. I'm going to pop those two factors there, plus 15x plus 8x. So I've just taken the 15 and the 8, kept the sign, plus 10. Now I'm going to group in pairs. If you like, split it up like that. All right, 12x squared and 15x has a common factor of 3x. 12x squared divided by 3x is 4x. 15x divided by 3x is plus 5. Coming over here, my common factor would be 2. Don't forget to put in this plus because we are talking about an expression. So don't forget that plus. It's not multiplying the thing, it's adding to the thing. Plus 2. 8x divided by 2 is 4. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And remember in the last one I said that this bracket should match that bracket. So you should start to see that happening. Then I get to pull both of these over here. And I get 4x plus 5 as my common factor. I get my 3x. And I get my plus 2 over here. And so now I've factorised it really quite quickly and really nice and simply. At this point, you can pretty much do any question from exercise 7.3 from Maths Quest. So good luck to you all. See you in class.